It's been a few years since Dead Space, but at very least, the first of the games is a classic. I'm Falcon, and today on gameranx, we're going to talk 10 Dead Space facts. Number 10, the Dead Space design team looked at a bunch of pictures of car accidents and war scenes in order to design realistic dead bodies. From those realistic dead bodies and contorted, horrific things that happened, they started to come up with ideas for necromorphs. If you look at necromorphs, they're all kind of human-ish, but contorted into horrible positions and ripped in certain ways, or generally have experienced some sort of damage or mutation. A lot of that can be really kind of attributed to what happens in a car accident. I mean, if you think about it, it's actually fairly awful. You're kind of looking at artistic representations of suffering, but on the other hand, that really makes sense too. Necromorphs are supposed to represent pain and suffering, and they do an incredibly good job at it. So, really, on one hand, how do you think of doing this? But on the other, kind of genius. Number 9, speaking of how do you think of this but it's genius, let's take the but it's genius part off. The images in the background of the Dead Space menu, the original Dead Space menu, are a decomposing goat that the staff bought and they filmed it. Like, they filmed it decomposing. Whee! So fun. Like, that one I'm not gonna go, yeah, that's genius, it's so awesome they did that, on any level. Like, the car accident thing I get. Like, they're trying to figure out some way to visually create something that doesn't look right, that gives you an immediate unsettling thing. For this, however, they had to buy a goat. Number 8, now back to genius. The score for Dead Space 2 was composed by the same person as the original score. However, he wanted to do a lot more with it, on account it had been pretty much universally recognized as a great score and part of a very good audio design. So he spent a lot of time creating music that incorporated more typical thematic elements. For Isaac's theme, the notes went in this order: D, E, A, D. Dead. Now, some of the theories about what's going on in Dead Space get a little out there, but people who know music were really equipped for some crazy conspiracies. Number 7, the protagonist of the Dead Space series, Isaac Clarke, goes through a pretty wide journey throughout the course of the series. Here's something you might not know about his name though. It's a combination of two authors' names, Isaac Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke, both of which have done some incredible science fiction over the years. Isaac Asimov, for instance, the creator of the original I, Robot, which is a collection of short stories. And Arthur C. Clarke did the novelization of 2001: A Space Odyssey, which, I mean, Dead Space is a pretty sweet concept to go along with those things. Space and robotics, and some of those things are taken to a bit of an extreme in Dead Space. For instance, having a big sort of construction/mining operation aesthetic in space. It's really cool if you ask me. And it's cool to know that that's the kinds of things that they were thinking of while they made it. Number 6, Unitology is most likely a parody of Scientology. Now, it's never been stated that it's specific, but a lot of people have brought it up. The art director Ian Millam at one point said a lot of Unitology's inspiration was stuff from Scientology. Particularly, they were criticizing a lot of the stuff about paying money to learn more. That's all there, and the lectures are pretty much intended to be a direct parody. Number 5, this is maybe a little bit less important, but if you scroll through the main menu like really quickly, like you're on a mission, the music speeds up and changes into this much more intense, like, action music. Tense, driving themes. All because you were just hitting that menu a bit hard. That's it. Number 4, somebody took the new Unreal Engine and got a lot of the Dead Space assets and put it all together and adapted it. They did Chapter 4's main atrium, and it looks amazing. Like, there's nothing different about it per se. Pretty much all the textures are the same, all the models, lighting, etc. Except Unreal 4 does it so much better. All the shadows, lighting, the god rays, everything just makes this place look like a brand new game. Except for it's so obviously Dead Space as well. That's the cool thing. It's not technically better, but because the engine itself is a million times better, it just adds so much to this area that I've seen, like, more than a few times at this point. I mean, it's beyond cool. It brings such different perspective without it even really being. It just shows you how much better everything is now over the course of just a few years. Number 3, there was originally going to be a necromorph called the Flytrap. It was going to be kind of a hybrid between an environment environmental hazard and a regular, attacking type enemy. And the intention was to feel like a natural reason to slow down in the game, to kind of take your time. Essentially, it had its hands and feet stuck to a ceiling, and the skin on its stomach and chest was just flat out not there. And then it'd use its dangling organs as a lure, and if you got anywhere near it, you were attacked. It's disgusting, but really great. I think that would have been a good enemy to have in the game. Number 2, in the original Dead Space, there's an achievement called Live with the Hot Ones. You get it for lighting enemies on fire with the flamethrower. I mean, that makes sense. You're burning them up. Works for me. Here's what you probably didn't know, though. Live with the Hot Ones is actually a line from Electronic Arts' Code of Conduct. It's kind of a rule-ish type bad corporate culture idea, and it's kind of an in-joke among people at Electronic Arts because it doesn't make any sense. No one really knows how or what to do in order to fulfill the request to live with the Hot Ones. And finally, this one contains a spoiler, just so you know if you haven't played it, but the goal of the original Dead Space is to find Isaac Clarke's girlfriend, Nicole Brennan. It's really one of those old school video game sort of motivations. And I'm going to tell you what happened to Nicole. You find it out at the end of the game, but she actually committed suicide. But that's not when you find out. In fact, the game puts it right in front of you as you progress. The whole time. The first letter of every one of the game's 12 chapters spell Nicole is dead. Now by chapter 10 you should have figured it out. If it's telling you Nicole is dead, what are the last 2 letters gonna be? But as far as I'm concerned, once you spell out Nicole with the first 6, you should kind of be clued in on something. Something is going on here. So how much do you hope there's another Dead Space? I sure hope there's one, or at least news of one soon. Concrete news, not rumor has it news. Let's talk about that in the comments though. Dead Space was sweet. Maybe the third one not so much, but the second and first one were pretty good. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please click like, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do it. Subscribe right now. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.